Hey there everyone, my name's Jim Bob. How the hell are ya? Christmas is that time of year that families get together. A time of year to be with loved ones and people you care about. A time to be with your mum, a time to be with your dad, a time to be with your boyfriend or girlfriend. A time to be with people that you surround yourself with who make you feel warm inside. A time of year to see the excited looks on your kids' faces in the morning when they wake up and open their presents. A time of year to watch the little shitbags throw a tantrum when you buy them the wrong fucking dollhouse. And then you wonder to yourself, why didn't I just stay a virgin my entire life? Then I won't have to deal with this shit. Yeah, that was a joke. So people may ask me, how did I get myself into the Christmas spirit? Well, my friends, I have a simple solution for you. That is movies. There's only a select few that I watch every year without fail. And those are A Muppet Christmas Carol, Home Alone, The Grinch, that's Jim Carrey's The Grinch, not this shit right here, and Jingle All the Way. And yes, I do class Die Hard as a Christmas movie as well, but Die Hard is one of those movies that you can watch all year round, so I don't usually put it in the same category. So today we're going to be talking about Jingle All the Way, Arnold Schwarzenegger's really bad Christmas movie. That's so bad, it's good. Let's talk about it.
I'm not a pervert. I just was looking for Turbo Man doll.
So, this movie is about Arnold Schwarzenegger doing what's a very common thing amongst a lot of people, and that's sometimes leaving Christmas shopping a little too last minute. So he sets out on Christmas Eve to buy a Turbo Man doll for his son, Anakin Skywalker. You're so wizard, Annie. Jingle All the Way, in my opinion, is a really dumb Christmas movie, but for some reason, it's got so much charm and charisma, and moments where damn right ridiculous things just happen, for really strange reasons that make it the best worst Christmas movie ever made. So the film opens up and we've got Howard, played by Arnold Schwarzenegger. Now I think we all know that seeing Arnold Schwarzenegger in any movie is great, but he's not the most talented of actors outside of being a badass. But for some reason, despite the fact that he's extremely bad in this movie, you can't help but love the guy. I mean, come on, it's Arnold Schwarzenegger. This guy's the Terminator, come on. You want to make something damn entertaining? Get the Terminator in a dumb Christmas film with Anakin Skywalker as his son. So Howard is at work at some kind of call centre stating the same thing to every single customer. That being, remember, you're my favourite customer. So Howard's son Jamie has a karate class that's due, and when Howard's wife calls to ask how long he's going to be because his son's class is literally in 20 minutes time, he states that he'll be there soon, followed by, remember, you're my favourite customer, and then his wife hangs up on him. Starting the storyline off with exactly what it is, a story about a man who is a workaholic and neglectful to his family and trying to make up for it. So there's a lot of heart in this story already despite how bad it is. So Howard unfortunately misses Jamie's karate class after being pulled over by the police officer and given an alcohol test. And this is just the one thing in a long list of things that Howard will do to disappoint his son during this film. Howard promises Jamie something special for Christmas to make up for it. So Jamie tells him that he wants a Turbo Man doll for Christmas. So now, last minute Dad Howard sets out to try and find a Turbo Man doll after finding out they're actually very rare and impossible to find. And Howard's reaction to finding this out is actually pretty hilarious because we just know that at some point in our lives, we've been in Howard's position. God only knows that I have.
Good. Because at this point, they'd probably be impossible to find.
I'm not saying that every parent does this around Christmas, but what I'm saying is everyone at some point in their lives has left something similar to this last minute. For example, me. I leave work stuff last minute. I left paying my bills last minute. And I even left calling my mum back last minute. Okay, I'm kidding on that one. I just totally ignored the call. Sorry, Mum, if you're watching, I love you. Shit. So in this film, trying to find a Turbo Man is kind of like me trying to get a PS5 this year. Fuck you, you crazy online shoppers. What about me and my needs, huh?
How can you do this? This is outrageous. It's unfair.
Back when this movie came out, online shopping wasn't even a thing. This was back when the only way you could actually get stuff was to go to the shops and actually buy it. I think this is why this movie holds such a close place in my heart around Christmas. I can relate to Howard in some sense. This movie is terrible, it really is, but it's so terrible that I actually love it. So the first store Howard tries to get into, he bumps into Sinbad's character at the entrance. And Sinbad's giving him this story about his son, he also wants a Turbo Man doll for Christmas. And Sinbad's character Myron reminds me of that typical crazy random guy that you'll meet in public. quick, because you'll meet this weird person while shopping who will just strike small talk, but then he won't leave afterwards. He'll like babble on and on and on and on and on about his day and his shitty life and all sorts of stuff like that. And then, oh my god, it just makes you question how bad public shopping is around Christmas, especially in places like Birmingham around Christmas during a pandemic. I'm not even sure what's worse, bumping into people like Myron or dealing with angry Karens.
Away from
Stop harassing people.
Get the fuck away from me.
Is that like a personal attack or something?
So when the store opens, it's like people fighting over toilet roll in fucking Sainsbury's, as we see people tripping up over each other, getting knocked out, snatching off each other, pulling out huge katanas and killing each other. And okay, that was a joke. Jesus Christ, man.
Oh, you gotta be shitting me.
And this is just one of the most bizarre things that happen in this film. Howard asks this staff member if they have any Turbo Man dolls left, and this employee just laughs in his face frantically, and it's really fucking funny. This just doesn't happen in real life. I mean, if I laugh frantically at a customer where I work, I get the sack in a blink of an eye. I mean, it's like, oh, yeah, excuse me, mate, have you got any prog roll left? So it's not long before the entire story is laughing at Howard and Myron, and you just know that something like this wouldn't happen in real life, but it's so dumb and weird, and I can't help but laugh and smile. This is where Howard and Myron start their battle to try and find a Turbo Man doll, and this rivalry right here between Howard and Myron equals that of like Yagami and Elle. Yeah, like, no rivalry can equal that one. Howard even goes as far in this scene to chase some old woman's car to try and steal her Turbo Man doll. It's crazy. So we get a montage of Howard going from store to store trying to find a Turbo Man doll. More colleagues laughing in his face, more empty shelves, the works. Howard gets so pissed off that he destroys a full-on Turbo Man cardboard cutout in front of everyone. I mean, mate, I get it, alright. Christmas shopping is stressful. Meanwhile, we get a scene of Liz, which is like Howard's wife, and Jamie, as they're joined by their creepy stalker, potential psychopath, Arkham Asylum escapee, internet murderer looking guy, neighbor Ted. And let me stop you for a second. This guy right here is fucking creepy. And I think this is actually quite disturbing in some ways, looking back on it. Watching this as a kid, stuff like this will just blow over your head, but as an adult, man, this guy is creepy. Howard decides to call home to let Liz know he's going to be late for the parade, but it's Ted who answers the phone, being really creepy, talking about checking on Howard's wife while she's in the shower and eating the family cookies, making really weird orgasm sounds while eating the cookies, and Howard's like,
Put that cookie down! Now!
and that has got to be the most quotable line in the entire film. Things go from crazy to crazier as Howard attempts to win a Turbo Man doll a little later on. By doing so, he has to grab the right ball from this, like, contest thing. So with this competition, it's pretty much like Black Friday. People all dogpiling each other because that's what people do, right? And Howard ends up chasing a toddler to try and get the ball back. He's accused of being a pervert. I'm not a pervert, I just want a Turbo Man doll. But I think one of the funniest scenes in the entire thing is where this weird Santa guy tries to sell Howard a faulty Turbo Man doll. This scene is so stupid. I'm not even sure if the movie was deliberately trying to be dumb, but it sure succeeds with this scene alone. Howard gets into a fight with all these Santas, and it's one of the most over-the-top ridiculous things that I've ever seen in my life, but I couldn't help but laugh because of just how ridiculous the whole thing is. I love this movie so much. What doesn't make sense is that this police officer throughout the whole movie keeps getting into encounters with Howard, and at the very end of the film, this officer doesn't even bother to arrest Howard. So Howard manages to escape by taking this random badge that he finds, and the coppers are just like, oh, okay, you can leave. Skipping ahead slightly, after being dogpiled on, beaten with handbags, labelled a pervert, and still now closer to finding a Turbo Man doll, Howard has a small bust-up with Jamie over the phone and ends up letting down his little son once again. Dude, no wonder he turned to the dark side. You're a terrible father, Howard. Not long after the phone call, this scene in a cafe right here is actually quite emotional. Howard and Myron share a brief moment. Howard knows that he keeps screwing up, and when word gets out that there's a chance to win a Turbo Man doll from the radio station, Howard and Myron race to get there to give the correct answer to the announcer's question. And the question is, whoever can guess all of Santa's reindeer wins the Turbo Man doll. So this is where things start to get really weird, and over the top persona of the film just gets even more ridiculous, where Myron threatens to blow up everyone, saying that the parcel that he has is a bomb. I don't know if he was aware of this, but it actually was a bomb, and once again this poor police officer gets a big fuck you in life whenever he crosses paths with Howard. At this point in most movies, I'll usually be completely bored out of my mind by now, but Arnold Schwarzenegger's charm just keeps you engaged, even with this really terrible movie. There's just something about it, but it's so goddamn entertaining, guys. Later on in the film, Howard gets so desperate for a Turbo Man doll that he goes and tries to steal Ted's son's Turbo Man doll, but quickly realises he's been a bit of an asshole by doing this. Karma strikes when Ted's reindeer decides to chase Howard around the house, and at this point, Howard is so done with all the shit that's happened to him and all the stuff that's been going on during the day to simply find a Turbo Man doll that he full-on sucker punches the reindeer in the face. Not long after getting caught, Howard decides to get the reindeer drunk for some reason, so he pours his beer into the reindeer's drinking water, and I can't really tell, but that looks like Desperado. I don't know, that was a pointless thing to point out, but fuck it. So in the last act of the film, Howard heads to the parade, and for some reason he finds his way into a Turbo Man float by mistake while trying to avoid the police. He's mistaken for an actor who was supposed to dress up as Turbo Man, so now Howard is on top of this float dressed as Turbo Man, and look what just happens to appear in front of him, but a Turbo Man doll. And the look on Howard's face reminds me of the look on my face when I found out the pubs were reopening in June.
And pubs.
Myron decides to steal the costume of Turbo Man's arch nemesis and then tries to steal the Turbo Man doll when it's given to Jamie. And this scene is ridiculous. It's like overall dumbness and the stupidity of this film just goes into overdrive. This film turns into something from the fucking Looney Tunes. Howard is flying around in this Turbo Man costume, whizzing all over the place, and the effects are hilariously awful. Howard stops Myron, but with Jamie's kind heart he gives Myron his Turbo Man doll because he doesn't need it because he has the real Turbo Man at home. That is actually quite sweet. So yeah, that's Jingle all the way. It's really dumb, abysmal, stupid Christmas movie, but I love it so much. Do me a favour though, don't watch the sequel. That one's bad because it's bad. At least this one has charm. Overall, this movie will always hold a dear place in my heart, and it's something I'll continue to watch every single Christmas. So I just want to say something, guys. I know the world is in a bit of a shit show at the moment, but honestly, Christmas is one of those magical times of year. And no matter what is going on in the world at the moment, don't let it dampen your Christmas spirits. I hope everyone is okay. I hope you are doing okay at home right now. So look after yourselves, everybody. And yeah, have a Merry Christmas.